That's like a lot of people that recognized me as I was walking through. I was like, fucking hell, why do these people keep looking at me? And I was like, oh, somebody else to say they probably recognize you. I'm walking past these people, and I'm like, right, that party, and you can see them just looking at me like death. I was like, Jesus Christ, lads! Like I'm just a boy on Twitter. Like I'm not your enemy. That's what it felt like. But
Jesus, man, I am jealous of you. I swear to God. Do you know, if I'd have known you were going to get that kind of reaction, I'd have begged to gone up in there and I'd have worn me fucking medals walking around with my swastika t-shirt. Man, it would have been fucking brilliant.
holy fuck, I don't think you would have been allowed in.
No, I'm barred from the army barracks since I left, so they definitely won't let me into a count centre where there's TDs around the place. And you know
Oh
something?
yeah.
I would struggle. I'd struggle not to break a TD's face and just do 6 months for it. Like it would nearly be fucking worth it.
Oh, now, come on. We're making inroads here. We're making inroads. We've got 4 people elected. That's right. Shout out to the MP and Mr. Quinlan. Patrick, I believe his name is. Getting in there on the last count. Getting ahead of Fine Gael, too. That's brilliant. You see with the negative press that they get and all, and some rhetoric might be a little bit out there for other people. Still get in there and got a seat. Like, certain people. Just shows you if they even had any positive media, if our state had any positive media on everything that was going on, they'd be doing a lot better. They'd be doing way better. Because then, a lot of people, well, this is what I got from the counts anyway. A lot of people are just not paying attention and they're just going to go 1 and 2 and then go back out and they never look at the news or they never do anything. They just come out and vote and that's it.
There seems to be an awful situation in this country where people look at the ballot and they'll shove 1, 2, and 3 next to people and not have a fucking clue what policy supporters or do support. Like it's so annoying to me that we're at the mercy of fucking idiots for the most part in this country, and that's one of the biggest changes I would love to see. Is the constitution reflecting the supremacy of individual rights, so that even if a majority of fucking handicaps try to ruin our lives, they won't have a constitutional right to do it. If I had that kind of protection as an individual, you'd never hear from me ever again. You know what I mean? Video there recently on the National Party Telegram channel after he got elected. That man is fucking very passionate, He's straight away he says, we're in the door, fucking National Party now is at the fucking table. We're not going to slow down. We're already looking at the general election. We're going to keep pushing the message. So he's a very passionate and fucking positive individual. And same with fucking the Irish Freedom Party. The positivity is just, it's there. The message is good and they're going to keep persevering, and that's what we need.
All the parties will do a lot better too, right? You see, once the people start to realise, and I've seen Herman say something, and I've seen Derek say something, and I've seen other people say stuff about like coming together under some sort of unity thing and running in the right areas and getting all that sort of stuff sorted. And I think that there, if we do that, there's a voter block there for all these types of candidates. As I was counting them, I was walking around and I was like, okay, so it was Coolock and it was Kevin Coyle, nearly got elected. Fair play to Kevin. I was talking to him down at the count office. He went out there, he put his neck out there, he got something like 800 first preference votes. He just didn't get enough transfers. But there was other people there that were running against. If you look at that sort of stuff and go, look, right, we're going to person. It doesn't always have to be the one side's person. It's about speaking and having conversations. And then once we do get in through the door, fucking get rid of these other fucking agents. The nationalist vote has been stolen away from Sinn Féin. It's gone. It abandoned them. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael went down. Sinn Féin went up a little bit, and then Independents and others, which is the nationalist movement, which I say, went up to like they're sitting nearly third place, I believe. That's something that's you know needs to be talked about as well. That there is the voters there, and them idiots will always vote for the establishment parties. There's no getting in at them. I don't think they're just mindless drones that will vote for them. They've done it for 80 years, and they're just going to keep on doing it. But we've got the active base there that already went right. Fine Gael and Fine Gael are bad. They've realised now Sinn Féin are bad, and now they're looking around for an alternative. And your man Uber Boyo, brilliant man. We had him on the space here. It was blown away by him. Made a great video about going forward, and I'll post it up at the top here after I'm done talking. And I think everybody should go and watch it and listen to what he says. And even I was watching it, and I was like, oh yeah, he's making a lot of sense here. You didn't see it, Mike?
I caught the first, I'd say, 10 minutes of it before I had to fuck off and do something else. But like for a guy, he says at the start of the video, I'm just doing this on the fly. The cunt is a fucking genius. He'd sicken your hole with how smart he is, the bastard. But do you know just what you were saying there, actually, with respect to splitting the vote? And like for the most part there, even though we have 4 people in, and like I'd actually regard Noel Thomas there now as a 5th guy, because he was against COVID and he made it known. He was against the bullshit out in Mike Cullen and Nuke Derard, the place that got burned down. He made it known. In fact, his stance was against the government on such a... He was so hard against them that the guards raided his house in after one of those fucking fires. So I would regard Noel Thomas personally as an ally as well. But this movement in general, we took an awful lot of votes away from those major parties. We created a political environment where in many cases they did look at those they did for the most part away from those cunts. And I think it is time now to be strategic moving forward and try and get people under one big fucking nationalist umbrella. You can argue over policies later on, but if we give people one strong option instead of several, it'd be a good idea, I think.
Yeah, definitely will. Sorry, thanks for holding down the fort there. I was just trying to message the boys and all, seeing what's coming on. It's been a busy day for everybody, so I'm just trying to get them, bit of free time. Come on, have a few words with us. But sorry about that. It's not just there's a lot of people there that I was sitting seeing was like I would vote. Say this, I'm going to get shot down or something like that, or the machine's going to come for me. But with this win and the referendum, and it just keeps on building and building, people will get more advantageous with what they want to say. I met a woman at the count, and she was a really lovely woman. I think she was called Michelle, and she was talking away to me, and she was like, I was a Fianna Fáil voter, and then it was Sinn Féin, but I was watching your videos and everything, and then I decided to leave after Sinn Féin punched you in the chest that time for like just asking questions. So to see that the influence that these spaces are having, not just mine, I mean them all, everybody that does have them, it's making a real change. Every post that you make on Twitter, it's making a real change. Just have to keep building on it. Just 1 second.
Yeah, that's a fact, 100%. Tell those cunts, do they not know who we are, Toby, in all fairness? Do they not know who the fuck we are? But there's one thing as well that I like seeing happening now is Europe is starting to tend more towards the right. And I'd love to see Marine Le Pen get in. Like, the way they make Marine Le Pen out to be this far fucking right extremist, I hope she is. And maybe she might set off a fucking grenade in the middle of France, metaphorically speaking, of course, and set off a chain reaction around Europe. And fucking, like, if they start doing the mass deportations, well, maybe we'll fucking cop onto ourselves eventually and do the same fucking thing.
I think they did. Metaphorically, there was a bomb went off there with the EU elections, and Macron's party got absolutely annihilated to the point where he had to call it an election, not a presidential election, but the lower house election, I think it is. So he'll still be president, but there's a chance that they'll change Europe. Their European MEPs will all be far right, as they say, and then their parliament or whatever it is they have in France will be far right as well. And what are they going to do then, Satsov? They're going to get people that they don't want in their country, and they can't deport them back to Algeria or any of these other countries. But what they can do is force them to go to here. And we're not just having people coming from England to avoid the Rwanda policy. We're probably going to have people flooding in from France and Germany and all these other, whatever these governments start to do in these countries, they're all going to try and escape. And Ireland, looking at the EU elections now, we've got one candidate, maybe two or three across the country that are looking at maybe anti-immigrant, immigration, mass immigration, and we'll be sitting there with our dick between our fucking legs and nothing to do with it. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't have enough people on our side to speak up for Ireland, because we'll still have the establishment in there.
Well, the only other thing I'd say about that is if Europe go down the road of trying to sort out their sovereignty again as individual nations and trying to protect their borders and trying to fuck people out who shouldn't be there, if for some reason the riffraff comes over here, well then our government will basically be forced into making an action. And if they don't, it'll be very easy to rally the country around this notion that we really are being fucking invaded. Like at this stage, even though I'm annoyed again to a certain degree by way of the election results, because you'd like to think if immigration was really top of the list, and I've no doubt it is, because everyone I fucking talk to is talking about foreigners. I just wish it was reflected in the elections. But either way, like, if it comes to that, whatever shit they throw at us, we'll fucking deal with it. We'll persevere and we'll force the change that we need.
Definitely. And we'll just keep on pushing. This is only the start, right? I was looking at the French and the Germans and all. They've been at this 20 years, trying to get something going on. It's only getting going now after 20 years. We've been going, I believe, so I've been told, like 5 years. I've only been here 2. And like we're leaps and bounds ahead of they were at 5 years. Do you know? Leaps and bounds. It's just that people are looking around now for somebody new to vote for, and it's kind of disorganized and fragmented. But I think that'll change. That'll definitely change. And just waiting here. Gavin and a few of the others, they've got held up doing something. So I'm not 100% sure if they're going to get on tonight. That's what I was doing there, as was that's all I was talking. So we're just going to have to wing it for a little while. Is there anybody there, like Val or anybody that I was asking, Denny's want to come up? There's GT if you want to come up and give your thoughts on how it went. Frank, you're there. Terry, if you want to come up and give your thoughts, just let me know. You just request and I'll bring you up. And we can, we'll wait it out here and see if these people can get away. But we definitely have Glenn coming on in a bit as well from the IFP. He did tell me he would be a bit late. But these are the things that you have to deal with, you know?
Yeah, you're dead right there. And while you were just saying there, actually, Marine Le Pen, I'm fairly sure she got into politics in 1999. So it has taken literally a generation for her to get into a situation now where she can finally push back. And it in like literally for decades. And it's only fair to assume that it might take us just as long to get into a situation where we can actually take enough power in this country to fuck people out and to hold people accountable. So I'm ready for the long game. I'll keep marching forward until I fucking die. And I've no doubt everyone here listening is exactly the same. We'll just keep pushing forward. We'll keep persevering. I'm telling you one thing. These faggoty little communists do not have our will. They don't have our patriotism. They don't have our fucking determination and our motivation to keep going forward. These cunts fly a different flag every week. We fly one fucking flag. So I'm not one bit fucking upset about the way things are going at all. I'll see this country burnt down to the fucking ground, and I guarantee you, a patriot will still rise from the fucking ashes. And that's one thing we should really keep that in the forefront of our brains. We're not going anywhere, however fucking tough it gets.
And not only are these people weak-willed and they fly a different flag, like I've been seeing videos of them giving people shit and all, and they're not the most healthy-looking people. I think you called one man, he had Lord for blood. You had this other man that was going on an unhinged rant where as well. Rowan Croft.
Like, honest, just to top it off, the icing on the cake, you're a fat, butter for blood, dickless fucking retard, and you're vaccinated. My God, like, could you imagine the fucking if those incel faggots actually ever found a woman to procreate with? Could you imagine the fucking troglodyte that would come out of her snooch? My God, the fucking kind of offspring. It'd be like out of X-Men. They'd all be mutants.
We all have that in the future for us. But I'm going to go. GT, how's things, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. It's always a hard one to follow Mike Connell, with the barrage days there. I'm yeah, I'm like you. I just got the first last few bits of your piece there that you were saying, Toby, in regards to the fracture of the fracture of the movement, the non-cohesive message. Yeah, I was hoping, hopefully, that Gavin and Malachy would be here. I mean, we've scored two great big hits there. That will go a long way. I mean, the fact that RTE shut off Malachy halfway through his piece there that he was doing with them, they're afraid of anything he says. Even the last bit that he got in there, the revolution begins here. They're like gold dust. They really are important. That has reached so many different people that their curiosity is sparked. Gavin obviously getting in is a huge strike because he's vilified by the other side. You know what I mean? Like he really gets under the skin because he just goes for the joke straight away. Goes straight for the main vein, and he gets a lot of coverage and gets a lot of things going. But he's very involved actively in his community, so he'll bring great change in. Particularly with autism, the boxing club that he mentions, and bringing more funding into the community. And obviously, Malachy would be a huge draw. And all the other independents, Paul Quinlan for the National Party, it's a huge victory for them as well. A bit of recognition, and IFP and their candidate as well. All solid voices. I think we have to now to spend this time, as we say now, to reflect. I mean, wasn't that it wasn't unexpected. Some of the criticisms come in, about the lack of obviously a cohesive message, people's communication skills about when they're doing their public broadcasts or how they address other criticism. I think it's coming from your boy Uber Boy or whatever his name is as well, mentioning about people being perceived as opportunists and stuff like that. It was a bit of an opportunist maneuver that we did pull. I think you remember a couple of streams back, and it was Dr. Owen Lenihan who proffered it with the upcoming elections. This would be a golden opportunity for us to get in there. And many of us did answer that and push ourselves forward, which is exactly what we needed. You've got to look at it from another point as well, is that what we've exposed, the gerrymandering, the obvious gerrymandering, the ballot harvesting, all of those tactics that presented themselves to the public. There'll be a lot of revision and people going back over this. And again, I would encourage everybody to send in their complaints to I think it's the Attorney Generals or the Electoral Commission and stuff like that with your video footage. There's another lady bringing in video presentation, with McEntee talking about giving citizenships by pure email and stuff like that. This is the desperation. This has been a whole testing ground for the generals. And they've seen how, like, the Gambian politicians jumping out without a care in the world, breaking all the electoral, the gerrymandering and all the mandates and all of that. So we have a lot to reflect on. We're going to have to a lot to do. There's going to have to be a coming together. I think I'll just finish this. Don't want to hog the mic too much. I think there's a national day for us to kind of come together in a place like James Conway's IFP place. And I've been telling that for a long time. So that if like a Pontida situation where we have a nationalist day, come out and celebrate. We don't need anybody's authority. We need a field. James would probably provide it. We make our own entertainment, but we have speakers come up and we talk and we communicate and network in real life and get away from the online, because they're feeding off what we're saying. The government's attacked us pre-election about and then vividly broadcasting that rapist that was here so many on broadcast. They're falling. They're leaning in towards our policies of what we understand.
just texting her trying to see where Galvin and them was. Just still hoping
Oh,
they
can you
will
say it
get
if I'm
on.
not here? Because I'm going to jump off, Toby. I'm going to jump off, but I want to say, if you can get it, just to pass on my congratulations. They will be too, and I look forward to listening back in on the stream as well.
Oh yeah, here I will. As soon as I get talking to him, I'll fucking I'll let you know what, or I'll pass on your message. But to talk about
I,
that sort of, go ahead, Meg.
as I was going to say, I bet you the four of them are all riding. A big celebration ride. That's what the story is.
I have no idea what the fuck they're at. Fucking nightmare. Terry, how's things, pal? I caught him on the bounce, did I?
Hey, no, you're all right. How's it going,
How
everybody?
about sir?
Yeah, I just want to kind of echo the sentence there, Rowan, as well. That video from Uber, absolutely fantastic. No, I logged in this morning and straight away went to that For You tab, and just the whole thing just lit up, mocking this apparent failure. I don't see it as a failure at all. Like, you've hit the nail on the head as well. Like, there's so many stolen votes there now, that have transferred essentially from Sinn Féin. They've been absolutely decimated. People before profit as well, like, they're fucking finished from the looks of it as well. So much has happened over this weekend. We need to take some positives from it and kind of build on it. And the thing that I've been saying a lot in the last couple of days as well, between now and the general election, whenever it is to really kind of tap into the youth and kind of get them interested, get them focused, because as Rowan just said there now, a lot of them are disenfranchised and they're just not interested. I kept on hearing it, in particular and around Newtown Mount Kennedy, like, a lot of the parents there were saying their kids weren't interested in voting. They had no idea. Even then, I had somebody sending me a private message as well on Facebook, asking me for, like, they're just not even clued in. Like, they're just asking for hints, like, and tips. I, of course, told them who to vote for down here in Wicklow. We had no proper candidate on the, if you want to call it, the far right side. But I told him to obviously to back the two Johns, John Larkin and John Snell. John Snell got across the line there. He's been absolutely fantastic in Wicklow. He's been at all these protest sites, Newtown, Mount Kennedy, Aughrim. He was here in Wicklow Town as well. There was a proposed one here as well, another one in Rathnew. They were trying to do it alongside the Grand Hotel. So his win for being re-elected is more than deserved. I suppose I just kind of wanted to echo is pretty much what yourself and Rowan had said, pretty much. Just kind of chime in on that.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And there was one thing I wanted to ask you. John Snell, he was down there. Did you mention John there?
Yeah, he's
He
absolutely
got back
delighted.
in?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he romped home. He finished
Yeah.
well ahead over the quota, and a lot of his transfers went to Larkin, I believe, who was sitting pretty for quite a while, up to this. It was the 8th count he went out on. Now, in fairness to Larkin as well, he didn't actually run a campaign. He just went at it last minute after April 25th, I think it was, in around that date, and just went hell for leather. And on the events, what happened down in Newtown Mount Kennedy, the community got behind him, and he lasted longer than, I think it was 2 Fianna Fáil candidates. He knocked out 2 Sinn Féiners as well, and a previously elected independent as well in Mary Kavanagh. So he done very well, considering the short bit of time that he had to work with.
Yeah, here. Fucking fair play to him. And to see establishment parties going down like that and not getting, getting beat by independents, they're not even putting on, like a real campaign or anything. I noticed that in
Well, it
East
goes to
Wall.
show you then, yeah, like how prominent, an issue this is, this immigration, these plantations that are going on
Yeah.
across the country, that somebody can come along, with a few weeks, I think it was about maybe 6 weeks, if you want to call it a campaign trail. He didn't go canvassing on doors outside of Newtown Mount Kennedy either, as far as I know. He actually said he was going to canvass in Wicklow Town, apologies, Wicklow Town in Rathnew. And he got a menacing phone call to leave the town. Obviously, some fucker was watching him, and he got a bit nervous, so he left. So to kind of give you the idea, that he managed that level of success to outpoll legacy, establishment parties, and go up to count 8. And only then it was very close between himself and a young Sinn Féin candidate, Anthony Hill. And the two of them went out. They had to do a recount on it, and he finally just went out on count 8. So it kind of gives you an emphasis how important this mass illegal immigration is at the moment in Ireland.
Oh, it's the hot topic. And
It
I was
is.
watching East Wall and Sinn Féin and East Wall, and
Mm.
they get absolutely decimated, right? That man, what do you call him? He's the arsehole from Alan Whelan, right? He's from East Wall and Sinn Féin.
Yes.
He was doing all the talking,
Yeah.
couldn't tell you what a woman was putting up all these posts, doing all these woke posts, and he got
Yeah.
252 votes in the inner city. And then the other one beside him, I think it was Hallisey, who is would be as bad as Whelan. He got the exact same votes as that. No,
Mm.
very low. Like them two
Yeah.
combined, Malachi Stinson did better than the both of them. So there is that, that anti-immigrant or
Absolutely.
anti-immigration or anti-mass immigration sentiment out
Mm.
there that people are really starting to fucking push back at it. And it doesn't even matter what your other policies are. If you're on that one policy, you're going to get a whole hump of votes. But you have to branch out, I believe.
Yeah, as two things for me now going forward from this. Take the positives from it, from obviously Gavin Pepper and Steenson and a few other candidates getting in. I think there needs to be unity. I mentioned that about a month or two back as well. Going into this, unity is absolutely vital, and then tapping into the younger generation as well. And I think Gavin Pepper's your man for that in around Dublin as well. And Derek Bly, on the back of that, he tweeted straight away. He's mentioned for months that it will start in Dublin and it will blossom out from there, and I think it will ignite. Um, I'm kind of wondering, like, if we get a bit of time with the general election and it doesn't happen until next year, it might actually work to our favour. It gives us a bit more time to, get our shit in order, if you will, to unite and tap into that youth and kind of get a few more votes. Because what happened with the illegal migrants coming in and being bussed around up and down the length and breadth of the country was absolutely fucking shocking. We had it, as I said to you, in Newtown, Mount Kennedy here. I posted a photo of that. And of course, left were denying it in the comments and all, saying it didn't happen. It fucking did. It absolutely did. And as Rowan said, I must actually reach out to the guy. He got a video of it. Them all going into the polling station. So I think we should need to log that as a complaint as well, and kind of query this, what's going on. It's not right at all. They've only been in there through their house now, what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and they're getting bussed to go off and vote. They haven't got a fucking clue. Half of them don't have any English. They haven't got a clue what they're doing on that sheet and who they're voting for. And it's electoral corruption. It really is. It's disgusting.
I swear to God, there's a pure there in fucking Galway called Helen Ungabunga, Helen Ogba, or something like that, yeah, an
Yeah,
African
yeah.
one. Like, I watched a video of her there recently. The woman can't even speak English. I'm not even messing with you. And she gets enough votes to get in. Now, again, you have to think about this is an African communist who's after getting into politics in Galway City. Like, fuck me, like, there has to be something going on. And whether it's corruption or literally too many foreigners, which I think is very likely, it's likely the case that there is literally too many non-Irish, fucking zero English-speaking foreigners in the country voting for someone on the card that merely looks like them, which is a fucking serious problem. But just to say very quickly as well, because I was just thinking about a rivalry while you were talking about names there. Stephen Kerr and that fucking commie faggot, Joe Daly of People Before Profit, have been a strong rivalry for the last year, if not 2 years at this stage, right? And of course, Joe Daly calls every cunt a fascist this and a fascist that. Well, Stephen Kerr, although he lost the race in the end, but he was in it for a long time, had 4, if not 5 times more votes than that other commie fucking queer. I just want to get that on the record as well so people know.
I noticed a lot of stuff like that. That these people that are the most outspoken and the most on the left weren't doing very well. We'll talk about one here, right? We're watching the counts now. Al Quadri talking about, oh yeah, I speak for a nation and all, and I had all these foreigners here. He didn't get any votes. He got like 5,000 votes over the whole thing. You know what I mean? But when it comes to these people down in the country, there's less people in the country. Do you know what I mean? So whenever they put somebody up and there's all these foreigners, they just go in and go, he looks like me or she looks like me. I'm just going to vote for that person. Going to vote for that person. And I was like that's the most racist thing that you can do, and that's what they're doing. And this is being championed even by Leo Varadkar, sitting on fucking Fine Gael or sitting on fucking News Talk. And what did he say? For
Yeah.
every far right lunatic that gets elected, we will get an immigrant Fine Gaeler into power as well. I was like,
I
yes, I thought
swear
this
to
wasn't happening.
God.
I thought this replacement wasn't happening.
He'd fucking infuriate you when you hear him talking. The dirty fucking Indian queer. I'm not joking. He is by far the head of the snake in this country. He has done so much fucking damage. I wonder, can we do some sort of Jedi mind trick on the retard lefties? Like, if we get all these right wing parties together and, like, we call ourselves the Palestine Liberation Party, and our slogan will be Homes for All. Well, I tell you, we might capture all the retard lefty votes and then just stab them in the back when we get into power. Might be something to look at.
It's going to happen to them anyway, isn't it?
Exactly. They're going to get fucking put up against the wall anyways, right? Just while you're saying it, those monks they think it's a win to get a communist in power. They think it's a win.
You know what
Fucking
it
monks.
is? They're spending more time. We're sitting here attacking the government. They're spending more time attacking us. They were reveling in some people not getting elected. And I'm like, yeah, but we're against the establishment. And I noticed that in the voting patterns too. This would be a weird one. Wish Gavin was here. We could talk about this. Gavin was getting number one. Conor Reedy of People for Profit was getting number two. And that was repeated over and over. And I'm sitting thinking to myself, because when they're tallying the votes, you can't see who voted, obviously, but you can look at the vote. And then they're tallying. I said, if Gavin Hepper, People for Profit. The anti-establishment vote. They just hate all the establishment parties, and they know that Gavin Pepper is anti-establishment, and they assume fair play to Conor Reedy come up and shake Gavin's hand, says it looks like the two of us are in. But the two of them said it's like we were getting loads of ones and twos. What the fuck's that about? Like, I think they were given to. So this is going to take a lot longer than we were thinking. So I think there's just a lot of confusion. And if RTE just did their job properly, there wouldn't be as much confusion, and just give everybody 15 minutes, and that person just speaks for 15 minutes on RTE, and they're uninterrupted. But no, they can't do that.
Yeah.
They put everybody on that just thinks the same.
Yeah, you're dead right to say that as well. I saw Michael Leahy had a great little speech there on the Irish Freedom Party YouTube channel that I know Ivan Yates must have chaired this little fucking shindig anyway. But the likes of Michael Leahy, the man is a great speaker. Like, we've an awful lot of fantastic speakers on the anti-establishment side. They're just not getting the airtime. And I think that fucking asshole organization, communist propaganda, bullshit RTE, they fucking know it. And you have to take it for granted as well. They're being instructed by the establishment not to fucking platform them. You can put money on it. Like, it's as clear as the fucking nose on your face.
I think a thing that they have to do is sign up to one of them INR protocols, or they've probably renamed it to something else. And once you sign up to that NGO protocol, you get access to the big TV shows.
But you know something, at this stage, I'd nearly recommend people just sign the fucking thing. And when you get into power, just scream nigger from the top of your lungs. Fuck it, like. Like, at this stage, anything at all to subvert the vote. That's an awful lot of our problems. We're very fucking honest people. And actually, in some ways, it's working against us. I don't know. I'll sign Einar. Fucking niggers are my friends, and the queers. Come on, let's have a shindig. Put me into the doll. Man, I'd fucking fuck you straight into the gas chamber, you cunts. God, get into fuck.
Oh, fuck. We'll throw it to Paul there. How's things, Paul?
Not too bad, not too bad. I stayed offline for the weekend because my head would have been done in, but I'm not as dejected as everybody is, like, because I'm more frustrated, to be honest with you. I think we left a lot of votes behind us, by splitting the votes. And a lot of people are saying this, but splitting the votes, there was quite a few candidates that, fair dues to them from standing up, but I don't think they were ever going to go far, like, and also, like, transferring, like, like you said, people wasted a lot of votes, But for me, there still is positives, like, because like straight away, like national media trying to spin it as some like a massive victory. Like, but Fine Gael, they didn't improve on their 2019 results. Now they did win this election, but they didn't improve. Sinn Féin got absolutely smashed, and we did that.
Yep.
We probably focused on Sinn Féin too much. I think going forward, we need to focus on Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. I actually think that, like, at the end of the day, okay, like it's frustrating watching so many Muppets being elected, but like immigration on a national level, like, is not decided by councillors. So, like, you know, so as far as I'm concerned, the general elections are the most important ones. And for me, immigration is the defining issue of our time. I'm generally not a single issue person, but for now and for the next couple of years, immigration. That's what we need to focus on. And I do think that if we come together, educate people non-stop on like using the votes wisely, coming together as groups. I don't know, can we come together underneath one nationalist umbrella? I would absolutely love that, but probably don't see it. I saw Dr. Owen Lenihan commenting where he said probably maybe like Independent Ireland and On Two as one group, and then Irish Freedom Party, National Party, and Ireland First as another one. And you could probably get away with two, and then because they're kind of quite ideologically different. Because I see a lot of people talking about like egos and all that, but like we're at the stage now where like egos are for like weak, small men. Like, you know, like we need strong men and women to come forward, you know. And I think if we do come together and start being more strategic, using the vote wisely, I do genuinely think that we still have a chance in the general elections.
Yeah, I do too. Do you know what I seen whenever I was there? It was a real learning curve for everybody that was there. Everybody was learning on their feet, and take that what you've learned there, even if you didn't get in, right? Take what you've learned at the election centre, doing your canvass and doing all that there, and build on it. Like a lot of people are sitting like, if this is your first time at it, not very many people get in on their first go. Especially if you're in a small party or you're an independent, you know, it's very unheard of. It's just Gavin, and so Malachy was the face of that protest. You know, he was the one that was announcing the things and stuff, and then Gavin, he is just Gavin Pepper. You know, they had that notoriety where they could get in, but just an everyday person, like if you got close, don't be dejected. That you did brilliantly.
Like
And it was just
we were never going to overturn the entire infrastructure like in one election cycle. That was never going to happen. So like let's kind of temper expectations a little bit and be realistic. Like we're fighting against an NGO complex that is funded to the tune of billions of euros every year, and it's been set up like for decades in Ireland. We're fighting against the media who are just like non-stop against us. We have Gript, we have online small media sources. Like we have politicians and trade unions that are fighting against us, and in spite of all that, we still got people elected like Gavin and Malachy. So I don't know. I'm kind of glass half full here. I'm going to take the positives.
go ahead, Mike.
Can I just say on behalf of myself and Tracy that we thought Paul was dead when he went offline there for a week, and we were worried about you, my friend. You know what I mean? I was nearly going to get all camoed up, get the GPS in the bag, and go fucking looking for you. We were fucking worried about you, Paul. It's nice to have you back.
Thanks for. There was a few people actually who were worried because when I came back and I saw the messages, I thought it was heartening, you know. But what happens, Mike, is every so often I just kind of hit a wall, and I'm the same at work, and I go flat out, and I hit a wall, and then I go, I need a break, and that's it. Then I just switch off a little bit, you know.
Well, next time you switch off, you put up a big message saying back in a month.
I will, of course, know about it.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about you yourself. Go ahead, Mike. You're going to say something.
I was just gonna call him a bollocks, but go on anyway, Toby.
There was just the next thing that I want to talk about is like we were talking about not getting dejected and not putting your head down. But we've seen here the National Party quote. I'm going to put in a thing later has come out and did an interview where he has called the National Party toxic, and it's a party that you can't sell. On the same day that Quinlan gets in, they've got their first seat. They've actually made gains, and this is what the leader of their party is coming out and saying it now. I don't push the Nationalist Party or anything, you know. I don't really know many people out of it, but I don't
I tell
think
you,
that. I don't think their leader doing this is a smart move. Like, I think, what would you be thinking? Like,
he's a fucking mong. Like, fair enough, it didn't go your way, but be a gracious fucking loser and just fuck off. Like, walk off into the sunset. Don't fuck people under the bus, especially when they get like the amount of work. Like, the National Party is easily one of the most vilified parties in the fucking country. They've been at it for a good few years. I've been up in Dublin watching them at the anti-COVID protests, the fucking free speech They've been on the streets pushing their message for fucking years. And finally, there's a breakthrough. And what does Reynolds do? He shits all over them. Like, that's not real, loyal, decent fucking, like, that's not how a man operates. That's a fucking baby.
and to see, like, I met them. I met the Nationalist Party that were running in Finglas and Ballymun when we were at the table. And I talking away to them. No problem with them. Nicest fellas ever. And they were like, will you watch that pale for any once that we can get this counted? Now watch this pale. And we were all working together. And I was like, oh, these boys are all fucking sound. And, they don't really have a presence on Twitter. Or what they were telling me was they do a lot of work on the ground and stuff. And I was like, right, fair play to these lads. And it was reflected in the votes that they got as well. But I was thinking, yeah, these boys are all right. And then to see their leader come out and do that there, I just think it's absolutely fucking disgusting. Does he know now? Does he maybe know? Sorry, that was just the actual statement I was listening to it there. Does he know that he's lost the party and then this is his, like, leaving job where he wants to just fucking take them down? I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. It's ridiculous. Rob, you have your hand up, pal.
Hi, cheers, Niall. Yeah, no, I just wanted to add, this point real quick because I don't think people overall really, I genuinely don't think that they don't understand the victory that was had in the last couple of days. I genuinely don't think people don't realize that number one. Okay, when you look at the overall results, the independents and nationalists in general are just slightly behind Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil when you're looking at it throughout the entire country. And this is, from a movement that doesn't have any money, going up against millions upon millions of euros and high-profile individuals. People were like expecting to win overnight, but people understand this. We did so well. We got the lads like Gavin, Malachy. I mean, the type of independence and nationalists that we have in the government now, they're worth. Gavin Pepper is worth 100 people versus some independent 4 years ago. The type of high-profile individuals that are going to move this needle forward is tremendous. And look, Mary Lou has fucked Sinn Féin so hard that I actually wouldn't be surprised if the candidates that are part of Sinn Féin, right, actually go over. They'll be like, wait, but geez, we used to be nationalistic. Let's join some of these independents and nationalists. I wouldn't be surprised. And listen to this, right? People have to understand that the ones that did get in, some of the independents and nationalists, they barely didn't get in. A little bit more and a little further push, and they would have gotten in. People have to understand, the independents and the nationalists, this entire movement is brand new, right? It's a virgin movement, right? And they've only just popped the cherry, okay? The skill now comes with practice. So go out there and practice and win that general election. You pop the cherry, you're no longer a virgin, now make it work.
Well said. And before we bring in this next person, drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. We have our first IFP elected councillor to the DCC. How's things, Glenn?
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm just a lack of sleep. I was hoping you didn't notice me in the chat. I was listening. I was enjoying just listening. But yeah, I'm very happy that I got elected in my ear. Can you hear me, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just want to say, who the fuck is Glenn? That's Councillor Moore, you cunt.
I have to get used to it. I have to. Councillor Moore, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm really happy at the result. what I was shocked about actually was that I actually only canvassed half of my area, so I was expected to not get in, and to receive the third vote, force preference, was actually unreal. So imagine if I actually completed my entire area, I would have probably maybe hit second or fourth. So um, it was brilliant, to be honest, and I think I did a really clean campaign, and I approached people with dignity and respect. I had a yeah, I had a doctrine to follow in order to gain people's votes, and it worked for me. So I was very, 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 very happy. Anyway,
Yeah,
Are
here,
you,
look, before we're going any further, well done. Congratulations. You're the first AFP candidate to get into the council. It's the foot in through the door. You set the footsteps for everybody else to follow. Galvin and Malachy, they've done the same. And you've done it maybe a little bit different than the other two fellas, where it's been a more, you didn't canvass your whole area, but you're right, and you were knocking on doors, and you had that in life, or that real world
yeah,
candidacy where you were out. How was it
yeah.
at the doors? Like when you were out canvassing, what was the reaction like?
There was many people that would, especially in Clondalkin, it is quite rough. So there was it's a very strong Sinn Féin area. So many people, they'd give you the eyebrows and be like, "Who the fuck are you?" or whatever it is, and I can straight away say, "I'm not Fine Gael, not Fianna Fáil, not Sinn Féin," and they're like, "Oh, thank God, who are you?" And then you explain who it is, and they listen to you, and they're like, "Oh, but so I'll give you an instance. There was one guy who was literally about to run out and grab me, and he was, shouting at me, "Who are you?" And I said, Irish Freedom Party. He's like, "Oh, Jesus, I thought you were the people for profit." I was like, "Oh, why?" He's like, "I ran them off the road the other day. Like, I thought you fucking came back. I told you not to come back." Like, he's like, "No, no, Irish Freedom Party." He's like, "The Irish Freedom Party, who are you? Tell me." Explain exactly what we stood for, and my stance on illegal immigration, and straight away it's like, fourth vote. I won't give anything else a vote for you. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I probably stole a lot of votes from Sinn Féin. That's probably where I got the most.
Well, I think a lot of people that did very well at the moment, a lot of their votes just came directly from people that would have naturally voted for. They're looking for an anti-establishment candidate. They're looking for somebody that's going to oppose the mass immigration and oppose the wokeness and oppose all these other things. And you happen to be that one person in Clondalkin, and it's great. We were all
Yeah,
sitting there, and the votes were being counted, and then I was like, "Here, Herman said that you've got in," and then you're like, "We don't know just yet. Hold fire, hold fire." And then
yeah,
just 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, then you find out.
yeah. I was towards on the forced votes, and then I gained the fourth seat above People for Profit. I made many allies actually there. There's many people, believe it or not, there's many people secretly, they say like fair play to you, and I won't say who said what, but we have allies in plenty of places. Just people are afraid to speak out. So
Yeah, and you getting elected, you'll change that. People that came to you and said, fuck, I'll be rally and I'll do this, and
yeah,
they're coming to you because you've got in there. You've got your foot in through the door. You can actually affect.
yeah.
I don't think you can affect too much on your own, but you can get in there and you can see how it works, and you can grow into that role. What age are you, sir?
40.
No, you're still fucking young as fuck. Like, yeah, you still got a lot to go in front of you. Like, the
I
sky's
think
the
I
limit.
think I've changed a lot of people's minds, especially other councillors and other people, the candidates, because they were talking to me and I was expecting something different, and they asked me what I stood for, and all I explained to just general. Oh, sorry, hold on.
he's conducting the interview from the fucking Amazon
Yeah, I
rainforest, is
thought
he?
that
Oh, sorry, get my
too.
words. Apologies about that. Sorry, yeah. So they had a bad opinion about me, and then when they were talking to me, they were like, "My God, you're a well-educated man, and you seem very nice." And my points were very clean and very respectful, and yeah, I gained allies very easily. So, like I said, they're believing the propaganda themselves, and but yeah, it was overall good in the South Dublin County Council.
Yeah, and you know what? Usually, if there's chirping in the background, it's a black man's fire alarm. But with you, it sounds like it's an actual bird.
I'll actually close my door 1 second.
Is it a budgie or a parrot? What is that?
Three cockatiels. One of them is Odin, and the other is Heimdall and Freya.
Councillor Moore, when do you start work out of curiosity?
I have absolutely no idea. Someone's gonna have to tell me that.
My God, like you're our window now into the dark side. You know that?
Yeah. Look, we'll get there. I think the problem that a lot of people said they're disappointed. I think it's because we're about 5-10 years behind what's happening in the rest of Europe. So it hasn't got that bad. Like it is following, but like when people start waking up compared to the French and the Germans, you will have many more votes lying because they'll see how dangerous mainland Europe has become for people of Europe. So I think we will gain more for the right wing. And
Oh yeah, I definitely believe that this thing just goes one way. And I was thinking about this. It's not really a left or right thing in Ireland anymore. It's just like a nationalist thing now against the establishment.
Yeah, I had this conversation in the camping stations. I'm thinking the whole right versus left. If I had the ability, I think socialism has gone out of control completely, where the taxpayers are paying far too much money for people that haven't contributed anything to this society. So this whole nonsense about 50,000 euros a year for one illegal immigrant in the hotel, that's just things like that's going to drain us completely, and we won't be able to afford anything. In fact, we probably won't. In fact, we probably can't afford that because I believe we're actually borrowing more money in order to pay for all this madness. So it's not fair on the taxpayers. So that's why I'm sick. I'm actually sick of going to work every day.
Me too.
Realizing that I was getting paid very well and realizing I don't have a future in this country. And people are landing on a plane and they're being housed and fed for the rest of their lives. It's
Yeah, I'm
madness. I
funded.
can't stand for it anymore.
Like say that's 50,000 a year. So like I know a lot of people that maybe just make 50,000 a year don't pay 50,000 in taxes. So they could look at that person there that's come in and handed everything to them and go, every bit of my taxes is funding your lifestyle so you can not go to work, so you can fucking smoke weed, do whatever, hang around these fucking buildings. And people are like yourself and like me as well. Is that's I'm like, where the fuck am I even going to work? Like, why would I do anything whenever all that money is just going on to house other people that have never brought anything into the country? But
Unfortunately, I think the reason why I joined politics is because I foresee the fall of the West. I can actually see the fall of our people. It's not a nice thing to say, but either we're going to have to go down fighting, or either we win. I don't know. It's not a nice sight. It's I'd say it would start with the collapse of the United States economy. That's probably the main thing that will happen, and then we'll be all fucked. That's my opinion.
yeah,
When
well,
the true problems, that's when the true problems will start.
I did see on the I think it was the New York Post today. They're talking about the American economy, like it's gonna go, and when it goes, it's gonna make 2008 look like child's play. And
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons I got into this too. When you say, like, I was talking to somebody, I think it was somebody in the north anyway. He runs that end, Tony Mallon, and I went and met him and I was talking to him, and he was like, "Why are you doing this?" I was like, "'Cause it's fucking like if I don't do something now, then there's nobody. Like it's over for all of us. Like everybody has to start stepping up." And it's like even if we lose, I can say I went down swinging. At least I fucking tried. But I think it's going to be a lot more than at least we fucking tried. I think there's a serious fight back, not just in Ireland, but we've seen it across Europe. We're probably about a year or two, maybe 3 years behind Europe. You see him with America. Trump is going out there in Vegas and he's standing in front of fucking 50, 60,000 people doing it. And he's doing this across the country. Do you know,
he
there's.
has to win. He has to win. He really
Oh,
does have to.
yeah. We have to
If he
fucking win.
doesn't win, it's gonna be dreadful. And the reason is if the economy collapses, and it's still the only economic superpower, sorry, economic superpower in the world, and it supplies its military. If it can't supply its military, then the global police and it is a global police. You could say if that collapses, then wars will break out everywhere. It'll probably start with China and Taiwan. That's probably, and whether the United States defends that or not, that's another question for another day. But yeah, there's a lot of bad things. He has
Isn't
to
it
win.
bad? Isn't it bad too when you think about it that basically, as I see it anyway, our movement is literally trying to prevent a fucking atrocity. Like that's
Yeah,
literally how I view it. I genuinely believe we're walking towards an atrocity that the Marxist left is trying to bring on us, and that's basically it for me. Like we are literally trying to stop a fucking atrocity.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the West is where it is due to capitalism. We're capitalist nations, so and we're changing very fast. And when we fall as a capitalist society, yeah, it'll be well, we'll turn into what the Soviet Union will be, where we pretend we're rich and then eventually we'll collapse. Where they tell the rest of the world actually we lied about our economy, we actually all this money out, and yeah, it'll be the biggest shift in economics you'll see. That's
Okay, and you notice this whenever, like, if you know anything about history, you can sort of see what's coming. Like, they're talking about getting rid of the farmers. You know, like
yeah. So I
Mao
mean,
and Stalin both got rid of the fucking farmers, and that didn't fucking end well. Do you know what I mean? They've now created technology where they can fuck with the weather. What else have they fucked with that's going to be fucking irreversible, or what other things have they done now that we just don't know about that they've really fucked us over? Keith,
I
your hand.
actually.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just gonna say I only know. I don't. I'm not from politics, but I only know politics from reading history books. And I read Crusade in Europe by Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he put the fear in me of communism. I don't like communism at all. It's a very fucking dangerous ideology. In order to achieve it, you will have to kill millions of people. And millions of people won't want it. That's the problem. 120, this whole thing about the far right being dangerous. The far right in the last century probably killed 6 million people alone, deliberately, and that'd be excluding World War II, which is 75 million people. But communism has killed 120 million people deliberately on their own people, and that's why I don't like it. So that's why we should avoid that. And I don't. These people for profit in our country, they should be absolutely attacked force because if they gain power, I don't. This is something I talked about my own party. I really believe that other parties, the nationalists, should have a doctrine of attacking communism because it's dangerous. They hide themselves. They don't call themselves the Communist Party. This thing about people for profit. They can trick people into getting votes. And in fact, they don't like me actually. That Madeline, what's her name? Madeline Johansson, whatever her name is. I
Yeah.
think she's a complete psychopath. I congratulate every Canada that, and I even said sorry to Daniel. I was sorry, he wasn't there, but I passed on that. Sorry that he didn't get elected in my area. I shook her hand. She gave me a nasty look, and she pulled her hand away. She's a nasty person. Communists are nasty. I don't like them.
And
She looks like you look
just
the
sorry,
enemy there.
Keto, just before you jump in, I'm going to ask Glenn one last question. What are your aspirations for the future, Grant? Would you ever think of a TD or anything, or are you just going to see how it goes?
It depends what the attack is. What will we do as nationalists in order to take seats? So in my area, I think Gino Kenny holds the people for prophecy. If no one else goes up against him, I'll definitely go after see. I don't want him. In fairness, I was talking to him last night. He's probably listening now. Where one of his communist comrades is. He was talking to me respectfully. But his ideology is far different to what I believe, and I can't allow him to stay in government. I'll do whatever I can to take his seat. So that's
Yeah, more power to you. Now, any help that you need to take that man's seat, you want some promo sent, you want your account trying to fucking build up or something, you're always welcome on here. I'll share whatever you needs to be shared. We're all on the same side here. I think like you as well. For me, it was a lot of this getting into this was like, oh fuck, these people are communists, and that never ends well, especially for the native people of any country. And just to any of you communists that are listening, right? And you're like the little revolutionary types, the little soy boys that we're seeing and all. If they get into power, they're going to kill you first, just so you know. So tell the lefties that are fucking, all the communist revolutionaries that are listening. Keto, go ahead, pal.
Yeah, how's it going, folks? I'm a little late getting here because I did around the 17K trek with the outfit earlier, so just got in the door. Just first of all, congratulations to Glenn. Thanks very much for coming on. And just out of terms of being a counsellor and all that stuff, do you have a full-time staffer as well? Does the council allow that kind of expense? Can you afford that? Because if so, you can do a lot with somebody working for you like that, because you can reach out to other communities and build alliances with other parties that have broken through in this election, if you get me.
I'd love to answer it, but like I said, I'm new to this. This is not my game. So I know I know you can take on more responsibilities, and I know you can. Well, like I said, I have made allies and stuff like that. So I'll do my best to um what's it trying to think. Sorry,
Yeah,
our movement, get our movement to
yeah.
move throughout the
Who
communities.
got? Do you know who got elected along with you, Glenn? What parties was he any into?
I don't know about A2. I know Independent Ireland is probably very reasonable people, and A2 are
Yeah,
very reasonable as well.
yeah.
They do have they're the reasonable left. That's the way I would call them. They're very respectful people. So they aren't the enemies of the nationalists. Like I said, the whole right left. I don't see it that way. I'm right, or at least centre right, and it's something that Fianna Fáil should actually be as well. But and the fact that they're in debt with the far left ideologies is absolutely crazy. I don't understand how Fianna Fáil hasn't just fallen apart, because I've met plenty of Fianna Fáil people, and they don't stand for any of this that's happening in the country. So I just don't get it. In fact, it's kind of weird. Like, I mean, even at the counting station, the communists know all of the Fianna Fáils. So it's strange seeing it. Like, I don't see how you could be friends or know each other, or I don't see. I just don't understand. I really don't understand Fianna Fáil. That's if there wasn't if all these problems weren't happening in government, I'd probably be part of Fianna Fáil. I really would, but I can't, because we all know that they don't stand for what they believe in. They're not centre right. It's actually crazy.
Mike, were you going to say something there, or was it just hand up?
Yeah, no, just very quickly there. If anybody right now listening is interested, all you have to do is tap on Councillor Moore's pretty face, and you have the option to follow. And I suggest you follow him if you're so inclined while you have the opportunity now.
Well said. That's the sort of stuff that I always forget whenever I'm doing these sort of things, is trying to promote these other people and get their accounts up. But look, it doesn't. I was talking there to a few people. It doesn't look like we're going to see Gavin nor Malachy. So our only elected councillor that we got on tonight was you, Glenn. I want to thank you for coming on. You can sit there and listen away, or you can chat away to your heart content. We're going to stay on for like another hour, but I'll throw it to you, Keith.
Yeah, man, I remember Glenn coming in one time because I got a DM, and it was from a guy, I won't say his name. He said, bring this guy, bring this guy. But I never heard of Glenn whatsoever. So I bring him up and we have this back and forth and all. And to see him get elected is beautiful. Like, I'd never even heard of him. And all of a sudden now he's a councillor in Dublin City Council, which is fantastic. I just wanted to add that little story in there. It's brilliant.
And it's just the beginning, right? There's going to be more of this going forward. And I think, what do you think, lads? I'll ask you the question. Do you think the general will be soon, or do you think they'll wait the year? That's what to you, Keith.
By November.
Do you think so? Do you think by November? What do you think,
I
Keith?
think so. I genuinely think so, primarily due to the fact that I think Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, and the current coalition, I think they were waiting to see what the story was with Sinn Féin. And I think that if Sinn Féin got big into the locals, I think that they were going to leave it till March. But now, because there's so much unsettlement amongst the parties, that I think that they're going to call it by November. That's my prediction.
That's an educated guess there. I can't even add to that. I think you've nailed it there, Rob.
I think the budget is coming out. When is that? Is that October they do it? Is it somewhere there? Oh, sorry, the budget. Sorry, excuse me. No, it's not October. Sorry, the budget's in the new year, so it makes sense for them to do the general election in the November, if you get me, because they can bribe people a lot of promises, which they're not really going to fulfill. So, yeah, so it would probably make sense that way. But also at the same time, if you've seen what happened with Macron, what's going on right now, I do believe they're having a snap election. So this thing is moving more rapidly in the mainland of Europe than it is in Ireland or the UK, if you get me. But at the same time, do you know what? I think me and Mike would agree on this. When I saw like Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and the Greens kind of clawing their way back in, even though they probably lost a couple of points, I was very disgusted to see that. But at the same time, I'm like going, well, you have to put the educated hat on and think about it's only new shoots. We're moving on to more greener pastures, and it takes time to get this machine well oiled and running smoothly, So it takes that kind of a good few years to kind of get this thing running. And when it does, I think it's going to be unstoppable,
No, I definitely agree with you there. And I was just thinking there, that fucking Samuel L. Jackson of the Green Party got elected in Cork as well. I don't know how that's another guy as well who can't, for the life of him, even speak English. The most I've seen that fella doing on social media the last while is picking up shit off the road and handing out leaflets. Like, and you'd be guaranteed as well, if he pushes Green Party policies, like, you know what I mean? He's basically pushing slavery to solve the problem of bad weather. So it's beyond me how this fella got elected.
Well, and he got elected. You're right, feeling dead that has everybody fucking pre-blocked. He got elected, and then Hazel Chu, she got elected. But I know that Hazel Chu's vote was down 50% on what she got the last time.
Did
So
you see? Did you see her outfit, Toby?
oh, she walked right past me. I'm not even going to tell you the story, lads. It's fucking wild. She's running around like a fucking what do you call it? Like, I'm not going to say it.
But no, isn't it crazy the way these parties weren't punished appropriately? That shows me insane because I was thinking they were going to be annihilated. To see the fact that they kind of like preserved themselves in many ways drove me fucking insane. Man, it was on a big downer for a couple of days, and then it was just like, it's only early days. We have to work towards something else, you know?
And you know why? Do you know why they do so well? Because nobody votes. This is the thing that I learned.
Exactly.
It says 50% turnout, but it's like 50% of the people that are registered to vote turned out. How many people are actually registered to vote? Now, don't quote me on these numbers, but I was told Finglas, only 5% of people in Finglas and Ballymun voted.
My God.
And out of that 5%, only 30% of that 5% voted. So whatever that number is, the quota for fucking Finglas and Ballymun was 2,100, right? And 54 maybe. Nobody beat that on the first round of votes. Nobody got even close to it. I think there was like 600 votes off. Now, I know Gavin Pepper ended up being, when he got the transfers from Leon and Redmond, that he ended up getting over the line. Then he got 2,400 votes, I believe. He did higher than Reedy of People for Profit as well. But that was the thing that disheartened me, is like all this stuff's going on and you hear a lot of talk about it, but nobody's actually voting. Then, as I thought more about it, I was like, that means we don't have to wake up as many people. You know, you're not going to run around trying to wake up everybody, because that's why the foreigners are doing so well, because nobody's voting. Then they're bringing in a whole load of foreigners and they're going to them all, if you vote, we can get in and we can change this place. But if we get enough people, if you could get voting up by 10% and it was all Irish people, this would be over tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. You know, historically, you know, the famous statistic is you need 20% of the population to change a society, right? That's number one. Number two, you know, people keep complaining about, oh, our democratic rate has been shunned and has been suppressed. By Jesus, half the country couldn't even bother to show up. That's the problem right there. And, you know, I think it was a few spaces ago that I did with you, Niall. I said that I think someone asked, you know, what is my number one hope for this election? And you know, people were giving grand speech like, "Oh, you know, I hope this gets," and my wish was just the people went out to go and vote. Just go vote. That's my number one. You know, and it's sad to see, because you know the older folks, you know, they're voting, but the problem is that the older folks, they have party loyalty. You know, they're watching the RTE. They're not on X. They're not on these platforms. They're only getting secondhand information, this, that. But primarily, they're being fed by the mainstream media. So they're only going to vote to wherever their loyalties lie, or whatever RTE tells them. And that's the problem. But you're right, Niall. We don't have to wake up that many people. You get 20%, like you said, another 10%. And by Jesus, Derek would have been in, Niall would have been, there'd be so many people that would have already gone in. But, you know, don't be sad about it. You know, don't be down about it, because, again, we did get Malachy, lads like Malachy, Gavin Pepper. Like I said earlier, they're 100 times, they're worth 100 times more than the previous generation of independents and nationalists. They're the ones that are actually going to progress this needle and move it forward. And I think we have to be patient, but a part of us is a bit selfish and we want the victory now. But by Jesus, the establishment did get in quickly. It took time, and it's going to take time for us.
If you look at that, that's definitely what it is. That this is a slow process. If you look, there's People for Profit. How long have they been out there with all that funding and everything behind them, and they still couldn't? You know, they're still not really getting anywhere. The same with Aintree. they're still not really getting really anywhere. If Into was exactly what they claimed to be, they would be going through the roof. You know, they'd be taking all Sinn Féin's votes. But everybody's actually copped on to like, we don't really trust you. Independent in Ireland, they're hoovering up a few votes as well. So if we can get just a few people, one thing you have to do is change the culture, to change the politics. We have done a very good job of changing the culture with the young people that are on social media and everything. And, you know, if you look at the AFD over in Germany, they're surging in young voters. And this mightn't be as prevalent in Ireland, but a lot of these young voters are turning away from the likes of Sinn Féin and the other fucking establishment parties, to the point where if there's a fucking another election, say this one goes and we do already get our foot into the door, the next one that comes around, all them people that were 18 and all that are starting to get into this, and maybe the economy collapses and there's not really much else to do and everybody's focused on politics, then that's when you do make real strides. And that'll give us 5 years to, you know, get to know each other better, make alliances like Glenn was saying, and stop the fragmentation of the whole fucking movement and sort of coalesce into one voice. We've got all that time. And that's the way I look at it anyway. I always thought, let's just see how we do the first, going forward, we may be able to get a lot more people in the next couple